I guess I should start now. Um, Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all. And we're really glad to have you all here with us today. We have a very sharp lineup and a very focused topic, and two very two people who live and breathe this stuff every day. Let's make the most of the this next hour. And to our all the attendees joining us with us today. Your mic is muted throughout the session, which keeps things just to keep things clean. Drop your questions in the chat box, and I'll be watching it, and we've saved the last segment specifically for that. And if we run out of time, we'll follow up by email. And one more thing, if you have your colleagues or your friends who you think would be benefited by this conversation, please feel free to share this recording link once it's out. Today's session is called Accelerate Your Revenue Cycle and Enable Sales System Intelligence. And I want to start with something concrete before we get into introductions. To give you the context, most sales teams are not slow because their reps are not working hard. They're slow because the systems around them barely connects, and calls don't flow into the CRM, and follow-up slips in basically someone else's memory. And so pipeline data is always little stale. So that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. And we have two companies in the room that have built direct solutions to these problems. So let me bring in our speakers. First, we have Sakshi Baukazi. She's a senior sales executive at KrispCall. So you already know about the KrispCall. KrispCall is a cloud telephony platform that's been redefining how sales system handle call intelligence. So hello, Sakshi. We're great to have you here with us today.
Hello, Swastika. Thank you so much for the introduction.
And joining us from PepperCloud, we have Sanjay Lakhani. He's a sales director, and PepperCloud is an AI-powered CRM built for modern sales team. Hello, Sanjay. We are really glad to have you here with us today.
Hi, Swastika. Thanks for that introduction, and a warm welcome to all the attendees. And hope we will find this session very fruitful.
Yeah, thank you. Great. Now let's get into it. And sales teams are constantly making calls. So whether it's these cold outreach, or following up with these hot leads, or moving prospects through different stages of the customer journey. This one's for you, Sakshi. From your perspective, or let's say Chris Call's perspective, how do disconnected calling processes slow down the revenue cycle?
Thank you so much for the question, Swastika. So, disconnected calling processes create a friction throughout the revenue cycle. It increases the time taken by the sales team to engage prospects and move deals forward. Disconnected or slowing down of sales workflows lead to slower lead response time, delayed follow ups, missed conversations, and gaps in customer information. As a result, prospects can lose interest, and obviously, competitors may engage them first, and deals take longer time to progress, or eventually they get lost. So, the cumulative effect is longer the sales cycle, lower is the conversion rate, and slower is the revenue.
Right. And, the word friction is doing a lot of work there. It basically compounds very quietly without even like nobody realizes that, right? Most businesses create sales workflows to move leads faster, right? And let's say follow up better. And they often close deals as well. But many teams still manage sales activities and customer data, let's say these follow-ups again in the pipeline updates in disconnected systems. From your perspective, Sanjay, why does this slow down again the revenue cycle?
Yeah, there is a lot of factors here. If you see, so if you look at the sales rep, they typically spend around only 28 to 35% of their time in actually selling, and the rest goes to to admin or doing a tool switching from one solution to another. So there is every 15 to 20 minutes of every hour lost due to logging and app hopping. That translates to about 1,500 hours. So you can imagine 1,500 hours a year for a team of 10 people, right? Now, another factor to consider here is the damage that it does to data, to the time, and to the context of the conversation. So, because every handoff between a dialer, a app, and a spreadsheet where you enter, and a CRM is a point where these all three things can leak, right? So every minute that a lead is raising their hand, and they want to engage with you, and a rep who's reaching out, and if there is a gap, the competitor can come and fill that gap, right? So that this whole disconnected stacks typically add more delay structurally. So your forecasting, as a result, forecasting can become unreliable, and your conversation data is not in the CRM. So you can't even manage the pipeline, which is not visible to you, right? So this whole disconnected flows create friction, waste time, and then you lose that opportunity to engage your customers very fast.
I would say that's a striking number. And, 15 to 20 minutes per hour for a team of 10, that's essentially one full person's a day is basically gone, right? So, moving on, we've just established what's breaking, and now let's talk about what the fix actually looks like. And it has a name, and it's called sales system intelligence. Since system intelligence is incomplete without both CRM intelligence and call intelligence working together, let's start with Pepper Cloud here. So, again, coming back to you, Sanjay, from your perspective, can you define CRM intelligence and what it means for a modern sales team?
Yeah, so if you literally look at it, so basically, what is intelligence now in that sense? Intelligence is a system which is available right next to every lead, right, in real time. So when the sales system itself becomes the intelligence, so it's not a separate tool. Now, what happens in traditional CRM, if you look at it, traditional CRMs basically are typically a system of record. You have some information, you go and type it out there. But in an intelligent system, what happens is a CRM is a system of action. It gives you the next things that has to be done automatically by the sales rep, right? Now, in the old model, the burden is on the rep. So he has to remember to log the call. He has to spot the pattern in that call, and he has to decide the next step. So the intelligence is with that human, right, who's taking all these activities. But then in sales intelligence, the it moves straight away to the system, right? So system captures, system connects, and system does the recommendation. Now, so if you look at it, there are three things that happens in intelligence here. There are three layers in that sense. So you have a captured intelligence. Every call that you are having, every message that you are having, an email that you are having with the client is recorded. Now, connected intelligence. Now, for one contact, you can see the whole thing at one place, right? Now, the third factor will be an applied intelligence, where the whole call, conversation, and your chats are recorded, and then it automatically generates sentiment analysis, their intent, and what's their engagement. It can auto tag, right? So all these activities can be done automatically, right? Now, for a modern sales team, it's very important that you have a system intelligence, which your best rep normally does it. It is available to all, right? So here, because system is supplying that, so whole team can perform at that level. So your telephony has to live inside the CRM. So if the call data is separate and your other CRM data is separate, then what happens is the system goes blind, right? So the information is degraded. You're only getting half the signals, right? So it's very important, to have in today's environment sales system intelligence within your CRM. I hope that answers.
Yeah, I really like that
Yeah.
framing, and the framing that you did of system of record versus system of action. I would say that's a meaningful shift. And from CrispCall's perspective, coming again back to you, Saksi, can you define call intelligence and what it means for modern sales team?
Sure, I'll keep this really brief, Swastika. So, call intelligence basically means turning every sales conversation into useful contexts and actions. It helps the team understand what happened during, the exact call, capture the call outcomes, track missed calls, access the call history, use summaries and transcriptions, and connect follow-ups to the right lead or the right deal. So, basically, for modern sales team, it means that calls are no longer just isolated phone calls. They're a part of the sales workflow and help the team to work faster, and it helps to work more effectively.
So the call is not just, let's say, a call anymore, right? It's a data that feeds into
Exactly.
what happens next, right? So now I would like to bring you both in here because what I'm hearing is let's say CRM intelligence and call intelligence are not two separate things. They need each other. So Sanjay, you made a point about telephony living inside the CRM. So can you say more about what goes wrong when it does not?
Okay, so you see, basically what happens is that telephony is, if you look at a CRM, right? Now, CRM obviously is a single source of truth, right? So you have all different channels, app, WhatsApp conversations, email, social, web forms, calls are everything, are available in the CRM. Now, if the telephony is again one very important aspect of that, because you capture customer conversations, you capture their whole log. You can understand what issues customers are reporting, and you have features like assist AI that can help in qualifying based on the leads, responding to people, summarizing conversations, etc. Right now, if the phone system if is not there, then what happens is that you have customers, you're talking to your reps may not be entering the current type of data, your reps are not classifying the whole lead into, let's say, hot lead or a weak lead. So that's these kind of requirement is there for people to be more productive, your reps to be more productive. So that is why it's very important that your call log and log call data obviously comes into a CRM to give you a full picture.
So, Sakshi, does that match with what you see on CrispCall side? From your perspective, I would like to ask you the same question.
Exactly. He's covered almost everything. But basically, this phone automation, it helps every sales call part of the CRM workflow. It logs the call activities, keep your conversation history connected to the right lead or right deal. It supports AI summaries and helps the representatives to follow up faster and with the right context. This reduces the manual work. It improves the visibility and helps the sales team to act quickly after each customer conversation or conversion.
That's a great way to answer it, Sakshi. And now I would like to move this to more into phone automation in CRM workflows. So sales teams still rely heavily on phone conversation to move leads forward. So where does phone automation fit into CRM-driven sales workflow? And uh, like from your again from your perspective, Sakshi, how does it support faster follow-ups? Let's say cleaner call logging, and better sales context.
As I said, phone automation basically helps make every sales call part of the CRM workflow, right? The AI, the phone automation that we have these days, that we have with CrispCall, it basically helps us to track the conversations that we've had with a particular client. This basically helps us, we do not lose any client on the basis of, gap of information. So that's something that we require at the moment very much. And this basically helps us to sell more effectively. And we do not lose our clients on the basis of anything like, gap in information or anything that they require. We do not lose out on anything. I hope that answers.
So yeah, it does. And so like basically the rep does not have to remember to log it. So system handles that, right? So
Exactly.
that's the no admin moment Sanjay mentioned earlier. So Sanjay, you had a very vivid way of describing this. So would you like to add?
Yeah, so if you look at all the channels that connect to a CRM, let's say WhatsApp and email, etc. Phone is the highest intent channel because when somebody is calling, right now, that's itself it's a buying signal. So if those call does not line into CRM automatically, that's your richest signal, and which is the least tracked one, right? So it's very important that those calls are locked into the CRM. Now, with KrispCall integration, you obviously have an auto logging of any inbound call, outbound call. You can see what was the duration, outcome, recording, whether there were any missed call or voicemails, and it also syncs your contact and call tagging, right, by intent or by priority. So the what the time the spends where the reps were using, 3 to 5 minutes of per call logging the data, and it used to break their momentum. Now when the log itself is comes to the CRM, the moments within seconds of hanging up, and you can just straight away move to the next prospect, right? Now, one more important part after the data is logged. So every logged call becomes data, and the AI uses it to score engagement and provides you the recommendation, right? Now that's a very important part. So AI is recommending you what to do next instead of a pure guesswork. So when and again, one extra point to note here is that whenever there is an inbound call which is coming, which is missed, by the way, or goes unanswered, now KrispCall logs this to Pepper Cloud automatically, and you can trigger an instant WhatsApp message, let's say through automation, right? That engaging that client. While the intent is still hot, so even the missed call can be handled properly in a more graceful manner through automations, right? And you can engage the client right back.
Yeah, and I would say that missed call to, the example that you gave about the missed call to WhatsApp is, I would say, is worth pausing on, because that's a lead that would have gone cold or, automatically recovered. Uh, and a lot of team don't have that, right? So now that we've discussed the role of phone automation, what does it actually look like to use CrispCall with paper cloud integration? So Sakshi, coming back to you, can you describe the process from the basic setup to the action sales team can perform inside the CRM once the integration is done?
Sure. Okay. So firstly, we log into your CrispCall account, go to settings, integrations, scroll down to the marketplace and search for Pepper Cloud. Just
Mhm.
click connect. A new pop-up window appears asking you to enter your email ID and password of Pepper Cloud CRM. Accept the terms and conditions of Pepper Cloud CRM. After clicking on the accept button, you will be redirected to CrispCall application and the CRM integrated successfully message will pop up. Now, after the integration is completed, the users can enable or disable different types of settings. These settings are basically regarding if you want one-way contact sync or two ways, notes logging, logging of your incoming and outgoing calls, your missed calls, SMS. So basically, the agents initiate the calls and SMS, they do that directly in Pepper Cloud. And all the call recordings, voicemails, and the notes, they are synced in real time.
Yeah, and it sounds very easy, and you
Exactly.
definitely do not need a third person to,
Not at all.
help you set it up. But still, if you require any help, our support team and support team is always there to help you. And there are also YouTube videos that will link in our description, so it will be easier for you to set up. So to make this more practical, this one's for you, Sanjay. Can you walk us through a real sales workflow where PaperCloud and CrispCall work together to show how automation and sales system intelligence help sales team act faster and speed up the revenue cycle?
Yeah, so if you log into CRM and you can navigate, straight away to a contact in the CRM, and you just use click on the dialer part icon, and then it automatically fires a call through Crisp Call because it's completely integrated with Pepper Cloud CRM. And before even the call connects, you can see the entire prospect history, the summary of WhatsApp threads, emails, etc., and any prior calls that you had, right? So you have a context with you available real time. Now, when you are and in case, that was an outbound call, but let's say in the case of an inbound call, immediately the caller's name pop up. You can instead of having like who's this kind of a conversation, you already know whom you are talking to, and you have the whole history and the background, etc., reflected on your screen. All right. Now, once you hang up and you have done the call, your recording of the call, the notes and tags, and all the outcomes are synced automatically into the timeline. Right now, that you can use it for coaching, for quality assurance, and for compliance purposes. Right. So, so the whole setup is admin level authentication in minutes. So you're not copying your numbers or moving data from one to another manually. It's all automated in that sense, right? So CrispCall integration with Pepper Cloud is completely seamless, and it brings great benefits.
I would say that's a combined power statement about behavior intelligence plus voice intelligence. So that's basically the full picture. So coming back to you, Sakshi, how does CrispCall and Pepper Cloud integration help reduce lead leakage across the sales journey, both from CRM side and telephony perspective?
Okay, speaking about the telephony side, CrispCall automatically logs calls, records the conversation history, and associates the call activities with the correct lead or the correct deal. It records everything in Pepper Cloud as well. Due to this, the sales representatives can make timely follow-ups. This basically prevents the leads to be forgotten, overlooked, or lost due to which might happen due to manual tracking. Ultimately, this reduces the lead leakage and it improves the conversion rates.
Great. So again, Sanjay, would you like to add in here? The same question goes to you as well.
Right. So basically the thing is, if you look at it here, your click to dial kind of a thing, right? It obviously removes your friction. So there is no manual dialing, no tap switching. You just identify a lead, you click, and you connect. Right now, imagine if there are 100 of daily calls and you have a big team. Right now, that obviously give you literally a productivity gain of around 20 odd percent. Right now, with your call transcription and analytics, your whole data and whole conversations become searchable. It can be analyzed, right? So, and the reps don't and managers don't have to remember, a thing, right? So they don't have to rely on their memory because it's already there. Now, with this, when all the data comes, you can even tag it. You can provide an engagement score. You can route it to the right salesperson to tackle that. So that hottest leads aren't sitting in a queue, right? So these are all distributed across the team to the relevant people who can handle them better, right? So now Pepper Cloud AI also here, and I just like to emphasize one part here that it reads behavior across channels, right? Now, Crisp Call voice intelligence adds the call layer, right? So you have the entire the combination of these two give you access. So you know whom to call, when to call, and through what channel to engage, right? So the idea here is that AI telephony is not a disconnected system. It is a part and parcel of the CRM. And I will say, having something like Crisp Call, elevates your whole sales pitch and and your sales cycle.
Yeah, and that's basically the whole automation built into the workflow, right? So now I think we've covered a lot of ground. So we've talked about disconnected workflows and what sales system intelligence actually means and the integration in action basically. Also, we also spoke about the lead leakage. I want to turn this over to the audience now. I've been watching the chat and let me see. It seems like we have a few questions in here. So this one's from okay. So this one's from Francis. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Hello, Sanjay. You said the AI recommendation next actions. recommends next actions. How do you know these recommendations are really useful and not just guessed by AI? So, Sanjay?
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Francis. Yeah, now obviously you're talking about AI hallucinations.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you know, this hallucination thing has been, every day people are bringing in more and more powerful models. And with that, this hallucination problem is obviously slowly going away. Now, because you have so much data coming into your system, and then you train your AI model based on that data, and with that, you will be able to spot, uh, your next course of action because you already have a knowledge base where you have mentioned what to do next, how to classify that. So you build those AI agents into the system. And as I mentioned, the more and more the powerful models that are coming up are removing the hallucination problem. But saying that, again, these are recommendations, right? So even if a sales team is trained, they can spot if obviously there is a variance. But what we have noticed that this is a very, very small hallucination issue, which is not material at all, to be very honest.
Great. I hope you got your answer. And there is this one question from Nick as well, but it seems like these are the similar type of questions. So I guess Sanjay have already answered that. There's another question from Zoe. How do AI call summarizes help sales teams? So this one should be for Sakshi.
Thank you so much for the question. AI, okay. AI call summaries, they save time by automatically capturing, the key points while you're in a sales call, including the customer needs, their objections, their obligations, the action items, and basically the next steps that they require. This allows the sales team, the sales representatives to focus more on selling instead of taking notes manually. It ensures accurate CRM records, and this makes the follow-ups even better, faster, and more effective. So basically, it helps in selling the products easily. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I guess that is all that we had for today from audience. To all the audiences here with us today, I would like to say if you have any other questions, our support team and if you'd like to know about the products, both our demo teams are always there. So you can always feel free to answer those questions, and you can also ask questions later on the YouTube in the comments, and we are happy to answer all the questions that you have. So before we wrap this up, a very huge thank you to Sakshi and Sanjay. This was a very genuinely useful conversation, and I know our audience has also got a lot out of it. So the recording will be shared with everyone who registered, and usually within 24 to 48 hours. And if you want to explore KrispCall or PepperCloud, links are in the chat or in the description box. We'll be sending that to you in the email as well. And if you have follow-up questions, again, that didn't make it into the Q&A, both teams are reachable, and details will be in the follow-up email. So thank you very much for being here, and see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.